a tutorial on how to set up the Arduino IDE for this month's October Family STEM kit. In your kit, you should have received a SparkFun red board. This is our microcontroller. Basically, what a microcontroller does is it's almost like a mini version of a computer. You get a set of instructions, right, which is your code, and it repeats those instructions over and over again. So we're going to use this board in order to learn the basics of electronics. So like light up an LED, turn on a motor. There's even more advanced circuits like how to turn on an LCD screen and program that. But for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to download the Arduino IDE software. This is where we are going to input our program and be able to do all the different programs. I'll also show you an alternative on how to also program, but both require the Arduino IDE. So to get started, you're going to go to arduino.cc. And this is just kind of the main home screen. Okay, it shows you all the different microcontrollers and boards that Arduino offers. But in order to download the software, we're going to go over here to software and scroll down, and this will walk you through how to download. I am currently on a Windows 10 machine, so I'm going to download the Windows 10, but there's also Linux and Mac OS versions as well. But I'm going to click on this one and click just download. Okay, and this is going to give us an application file, so I'm just going to stick this in my downloads folder. Click save. Okay, and when that's downloaded, I'm just going to double click on it. Okay, and I'll walk you through the licensing agreement. Find a place to install it. Okay, now that's complete, so we can click finish. I have this little checkbox and it'll automatically open up the Arduino IDE. Alrighty, I'm going to make this full screen. So this is the Arduino IDE. This is where you will run all of your code and input your code to run the various things. Okay. So as I said, this is kind of your main platform. It's still installing some stuff, so you'll see some stuff down there. But basically, the setup over here, this is your main code area. Okay, these are lines of code. In each of your codes, you will see a void setup loop and a void loop. Basically, the setup is this is where you just put all your code that's going to run once at the beginning, and then your loop is your main code that's going to be looped over and over again. So as I said, microcontrollers are really good at running instructions over and over and over again, and that's where you put it, is in this loop function. Other than that, you have this check button. Okay, so Arduino is a compiling language, so you have to compile it first and verify it before you upload it to your board. So when you're wanting to upload your code, you will have to connect your board with that red wire. If you run through the SparkFun and Inventor's Kit manual, it will tell you all of this, but it is a little outdated, so I was just showing you how to get this downloaded. Up here is where you select your board. So when you plug in, it should be able to recognize it. If not, you can come up here to Tools and come over here to Board and select your board. You will not find a red board specifically. You are going to have to instead use the Arduino Uno board. They're basically the exact same. SparkFun modeled the red board after the Arduino Uno, so all of the things should be the same. So you will have to click Arduino Uno. You will not find a red board. And when you plug it in here, it should be able to pop up. I currently don't have mine plugged in, but that's where it would pop up. In order to access the codes that you will be using from the instruction manual, though, you will have to look those up. So you will go to back over here. And if we type in, this is also in your manual as well, but if you type in sparkfun.com/SIK code, enter in that, you should be able to have all the codes here. The 3.3 versions, if I'm correct. Again, find somewhere to download that, click save. Open that up in your downloads. Okay, and you'll notice it's a zip file, so right click on it, and then click extract all, and extract. So this will have all of the code already in it beforehand. If you double click on this, you'll notice this will match up with the lessons. So if you go to number 1, your first code is going to be blink, okay? And here's that code right in there. Come back to your IDE and click open. Come over and find that in your downloads. Here's our blink code, and open that. So this is all the code right here. You'll notice some of the in here, this is like grayed out. Okay, those are just comments. You'll notice in order to make a comment, you can either do a double slash, or if you're doing a big thing up here, you can do a slash, asterisk, and then anything in between the next asterisk and slash will then also be commented out. So this right here is not code. It's this middle part right here, the void setup and the void loop, that is code, okay? And you'll notice there's comments over here that are telling you what each line of code is doing. So this digital write function right here is saying we are writing to pin number 13, which our LED is connected to, and we are turning it on to high. So we are turning on the LED, we are waiting 1 second, and then we are then going to digitally write to, again, that pin number 13, and we're going to say low, and then that turns the LED off, and then we're going to wait a second, and then it comes down to the end of here, so then it goes back to the top of the loop and reruns that. So basically that will change and have the LED blinking on and off. So you can come in here, look through the code, modify it. It will give you some challenges down here. So like the challenge for this one, try changing the 1000 in the above delay, right? So that changes how fast the LED blinks. Then there's some other ones asking you specifically to delay to 10 milliseconds. Can you still see it blink? That kind of stuff. So you can follow those challenges and try them. Now, this may be harder for some of the younger kids. Obviously, there's a lot of writing and a lot of it can sometimes be hard to read this kind of code. So an alternative too, if you don't want to parse through all of the example code and try to figure it out, you can also instead go to tinkercad.com. Okay, so Tinkercad primarily is a 3D modeling software, but it also has a circuit simulation to it. So you can sign up for an account, it's totally free, and it's a really useful tool. But in here, this is kind of my dashboard, okay? As you can see, right, you have your 3D, you have your circuits. They also have code blocks, but we're gonna go click on circuits, okay? And you can click create and circuit. So this is a simulation software, okay, so you can design out your circuits, or if you come up here to basic, you can click then on Arduino, and they'll have some pre-made circuits. You might notice these are slightly different than the circuits you see in your manual. Our breadboard, they use a breadboard in it, which is this little guy, okay, that you can connect the components to, but they're basically the exact same circuits, just without the breadboard. So like if I grab this blink code, you'll just notice it's the exact same thing, just without. So let me delete these, just without the breadboard. Okay, so this is our LED, this is the resistor we're using. They're connected to the exact same pins. Just in your manual, you use a breadboard, but that's okay. You'll also notice when you do that, if you come over here and click on code, you'll notice it already comes up with a code. So this is the exact same code we had in our other in our Arduino IDE code as well. You'll notice again, all these gray ones are comments, okay? And this one is setting our built-in LED to high. So turning it on, you wait 1 second, and then you turn it off, and you wait 1 second, and then it goes back up because it's a forever loop, so it'll keep running through this code. This is a lot easier for kids who may struggle with going through the actual code. This just helps block it out and make it a little easier. So again, you have all these blocks in here. You have your output blocks, input, notations, control. These are like your loops. Some math functions in here that you can use, and some variables if you would like to create your own variable is in here as well. But with this though, if we close this back over here, okay, so we have our circuit all built up, and if we click Start Simulation, you'll notice the light starts to blink. So this can help you simulate it, and then also code it out at the same time. But what's nice about this is now if you want to take this code, you're happy with the simulation, you're happy with your code over here, it works, you can then download this, okay? So again, this is using an Arduino Uno, and then this download code right button up right here, you can click download. Okay, I'm gonna just download it in my downloads folder. Okay, so I didn't rename it, but you can also come up here and rename it to help it find it better. Okay, but if we go back to our Arduino IDE, okay, go to File, click Open. Okay, and we go and find that downloads file, this one right here, and we click Open. Something you'll notice is Arduino IDE likes to have each of its codes within a folder. It should automatically ask you to make one. You can click yes and it'll make one for you. But here is our code that we created in the simulation. Okay, now it's all written out for us and we didn't have to do any extra work. You'll notice our comments are in here, and then our actual code that we built is in here as well. And then you can then click verify. It's all verified, it's all good. You'd then plug in your board and you'd click upload and it would then run the code on your board. So that's just two different ways you can build your code out in here in this format, or if it's a little easier, you can come in here at Tinkercad and build it in here and then download it. So those are just two options for you. The microcontrollers in Arduinos are pretty cool, they're pretty awesome. And they're lots of fun to play around with and get started with electronics. But if you have any questions, feel free to contact Cache Makers, ask for Amelia, and I can help walk you through any troubles you're having with your boards. But happy building!